Who, Matt Davidson?
Ooh, he's doing good in AAA. It's
what did he do?
The AAA team that he plays for. They love him on their Instagram. You tweeting us out, Aldo? Hey, we're live. What's up, people?
Yeah, it's tweeted. You're gonna love my first thing.
Let me see. Jean Roldan's the greatest game ever, you motherfucker.
Oh man.
Oh shit, that's funny as fuck. I'm so glad you make these titles because you do a fantastic job. Oh, buddy.
I didn't realize until after I made that Skinamax reference that Skinamax stopped all late night porn.
Oh, did they? I forget. I was hearing some other podcasts recently, and they were asking, do they still make Skinamax?
HBO bought them, so they took it off.
Kevin, I was laughing my ass off because my cousin, who's my best friend, gave the most awkward best man speech at my wedding. And my wife's grandfather was sitting front row when they were doing the speeches. And he's like, dude, you remember when we were kids and we'd both sleep over at grandma and grandpa's house and we'd wait till everyone was asleep and we'd sneak downstairs and we drank a whole case of Diet Pepsi while we were watching Skinamax? And he says this, and I can hear my wife's grandpa clear as day, and you can hear it on the wedding video. He goes, what the hell is Skinamax? It's fucking
awesome. Oh, it's great.
We just watched the scan, like the scan channel where it's like not clear, but you can hear everything. But occasionally, when it was bright, it would no longer be. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a titty.
Ooh, there's a titty. I see a nipple.
Jeez.
That's where all you see is like skin and hips moving.
Yes. And you just hear the music.
In real life.
No, the best. The best was when you like
maybe some hair, a little bit of hair.
Didn't even have cable, and you just had like those late night commercials. No, not even that. The late night like infomercials for Girls Gone Wild. Yeah, I fucking love those. Those are my life. Like when I was 12.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're 12, 13, man, that is it.
Yes, definitely.
We may not be allowed 500 feet from school after this podcast, based on this conversation.
We're just some dudes talking about some boobs.
We're just guys being dudes.
It was when I remember the Playboy channel was scrambled, and you could like get some. You guys know what I'm talking about. Don't it? So I know you spent a good portion of high school. From midnight on.
Oh, we've been live this whole time. So
I want to add a tweet to our tweet and be like, and a little Playboy talk.
Just make sure that you get the snapshot of Zoe. You're like, oh, I see it.
Oh shit!
This is all staying in the show.
Yeah, pillow talk.
And that's put in some baseball porn, and we got ourselves a segment.
You know what that includes, right? Bunting.
Oh yeah, kill everyone's boner. Dude. Way to go!
Woohoo! Blood flow.
Someone just hit last channel real quick.
Just gonna say.
You don't want to do a back toss on those because
that's when you fumble the remote and the batteries fall out and you hear the footsteps coming and you got to run up and press power.
Oh man, that was the closest thing you had to a heart attack.
What? Nothing. I didn't.
What? National Geographic. What?
I would not watch TV right now, Mom.
No.
Go to bed. I'm here studying.
Mom,
at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's like a bio test tomorrow.
Trying to sleep.
Oh, no, worse. My dad used to pull the old, you shouldn't be watching this. So he would stand in front of the TV. But I noticed after I got wise to it, he would always stand facing the TV while blocking it. Hands on hip. And then he would shuffle to the right without turning around after that sometimes.
He might have did you a favor.
This is probably true.
Mm-hmm.
Does your dad watch this because we're live?
Yeah, let's talk about baseball.
Well, I was talking about bunting.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like, this is horrible. Stop bunting.
Let's go baseball.
We need our fan to be watching this right now.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, May 31st, last day of May. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. If you watch us live on YouTube when we record these shows on Thursday night, you would have just been privy to a fantastic conversation. So make sure you're doing that on Thursday nights. But you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Zawacki. They call me Zoe. With me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
No more scrambled Playboy talk.
Mr. Matanuco.
Whatever.
Or who knows? Maybe some more Playboy scrambled talk.
And Kevin Fitz. What's up, Kevin Fitz?
First, Tim Anderson calls baseball boring, and then I find out that HBO bought Cinemax, and we no longer have the legend known as Skinemax. So I'm rough emotions right now.
The generation will never know. Oh. Anyway,
the wonders of scrambled porn.
They'll never know what it's like to fall asleep watching a really good movie at 8 p.m. and waking up at 2 a.m. with the volume up.
That's true.
Trying to explain to your friends, I wasn't watching that. It just was on.
Yes. That was very specific. And so we have a lot to talk about. On the south side of town, we're going to talk about Yonder Alonso and how he stuck it. Yeah, he stuck it to me tonight. But on the flip side of things, we're going to talk about Lucas Giolito. We're also going to talk about possible all-stars and what's going on down on the farm because it's the White Sox, and I don't think you can do a show without talking about somebody in the farm system. And then switching over to the north side, Chris Bryant confirmed, not soft, good at baseball. We're going to talk about that. Talk about what happened down in Houston and where the Cubs are going to go from here with Ben Zobrist's possibly early retirement. So all that, and God, if you were here for before the intro, you know there's much, much more. So make sure you stay tuned. Let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery and SportsMockery.com. Don't forget to visit our brothers in Las Vegas for Sim City SM. They're covering all the sports that are happening out there in Vegas. A lot of stuff going down. I know K-Fizz is staying busy out there. But sportsmockery.com, go and download the app. Put on those push notifications. You can catch this show on the website as well through the app, or you can catch us on Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes. Basically, if it has batteries and plays sound, you can put this podcast on it. And also, it is brought to you by TickBlitz, tickblitz.com. Our Tick Blitz stat of the week is going to bring us right into our first segment. Is the number 2. Any guesses?
How many hits Yonder Alonso has today?
Close. That would have been good, but that's a little too on the nose. Any other guesses? What would get me pumped up to do this stat of the week?
Something with
I know. I know what it is.
What is it?
Nick Madrigal has 2 home runs.
Yeah, he does! 2 bombs, baby, off his knee, too. That was, oh, yeah, baby. He stole someone's girlfriend last night. Woo! He went off his knee, hit a bomb, 2 home runs. But the most important thing is
Too excited.
all of his stats are going in the correct direction. Everything after his slow start. And tonight, as we record the show on Thursday night, he is currently 2 for 4 with a walk, with obviously no strikeouts because the kid doesn't strike out. But the other big thing is he has 2 stolen bases already tonight, which brings his total to 17 on this young season. The man is starting to ball out. Again, all stats are progressing in a positive trajectory. Yeah, said a word. And I'm very excited for Nick Madrigal because this is the Nick Madrigal that I wanted. I knew was coming. You got to think, and now that was tickblitz.com side of the week. TickBlitz, go buy tickets. But you got to think that the White Sox like to do mass shuffles. We've seen this in the last couple of years where they'll just one day, all of a sudden, Nuke, you'll get it, the email that says, White Sox move this guy here, these guys here, this guy down here, this guy up here. And they just seem, and we're coming up, this being May 31st, June is like
tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and
it's call-up time. It's promotion time.
Yeah, it's promotion time. And you got to think, I mean, Lou Bob's hitting over. I can't call him Lou Bob. Doesn't like it.
He'll kick your ass. He will kick your ass.
Very mad about it. La Pantera.
There you go.
Is hitting over 300 in Birmingham. killing it. Still triples, doubles too, not just cheap little base hits. Triples, doubles, killing it. Clutch, hit a walk-off double. I mean,
remember how worried you were that he was going to hit in that big ballpark?
I was worried. And the fact that he's doing it, it just makes it even better. I mean, he was 0 for AA for his first 15 at-bats down there. And it was like, oh, shit, here we go. Like, this is what we all feared. But he's hitting over 300 now. Again, timely hitting, his speed. He's doing it in the field, which some people were a little nervous about his fielding, but he's making some great catches. He's showing – I thought he had more of a noodle, but it's a lot stronger arm than I thought he had. And, yeah, you got to think – now, this is how I want to bring you guys in to start. Is there even any reason you put him in AAA?
There's a reason not to or a reason to?
Like, would you just skip AA and go right to the show, or do you think he needs to show he can do it in AAA?
No, he can make the jump. And especially him because I think he's already had, significant professional experience in Cuba. Madrigal, I would say no. If Madrigal, he's further out, and I think he's got a longer. If he surges through, he's picking it up right now. If he surges through June and then he gets, a good call up in AA by July, and he surges through July, then I could see it like, well, let's just bring him up and see what he can do. But that's quick for him. But I could see a scenario where Lubov comes up, but I think they'll be cautious.
I'm going to say
because Cordell and Tilson are playing well.
I'm going to say no, because of that injury last year. He only played 50 games.
True.
Like, this is really if he doesn't
his first full season in a long time.
His first full year. So, I mean, he's only played in 120 minor league games.
Right.
So,
but like Luke said, he has a professional experience down in Cuba, and I guess my train of thought is, if you're worried about him not producing right away, or taking his proverbial lumps or whatever, I'd rather him do it on this season, where a wild card is like the World Series. You know what I mean? It's just like, why not just get it out now? And the team is they're an exciting baseball team right now. You bring up this kid, I mean, that puts butts in the seats in a lost season. You bring him up with Cease. That's another, and we'll get to Cease in a second, because people are starting to circle a date on a calendar where they think Cease is coming up. But it's just, I don't know. I know they made Eloy play AAA, which kind of shows me their hand a little bit, where they're like, no one's too good to skip AAA. You have to go do it in Charlotte. But
that was also, the calculus has changed, because a lot of that was service time oriented. Well, not with Eloy. Eloy, it was, I mean, the season before he was in high A. It would be like Madrigal, shooting through the ranks when, and asking to be called up when service time was still a thing. But service time is out the window now.
Right.
I don't think that teams are that cautious about it anymore, because they're just going to extend everyone because free agency is dead. So, yeah. So, I mean, if the scouting core and all of their analytics departments say, he's got the tools to succeed, yeah, totally agree with you. You know what? If he has a good run, maybe by the All-Star break, bring him up. If he struggles, whatever, let him get it out of the way. Maybe you handle him the same way you did Moncada. I don't know if this was planned or not, but sit there and track pitches. Don't swing until you get 2 strikes. See what what big league stuff is like, and then go from there.
Yep, because something that you said, Kevin, has really stuck with me when watching these guys through the system, how the best pitching that they're probably going to see is in AA. And since you said that, it makes me feel even better that Robert is hitting over 300, and it's every night, man, like every freaking night. And it's just, the White Sox got to know that people are excited about this guy. And again, they're not stupid. They're, as much as we get mad at them and they do stupid shit, I mean, they're still not completely dumb. But the other name coming up is Dylan Cease. And I really think now that I feel way more confident that that's going to happen soon for two reasons. One, they let him throw 100 pitches in his last start on Wednesday night. That's the first time they've let him do that this year, and I think that was the let's see what you can do. And he showed up and he pitched well. And from everything I read today, Thursday, no reports of any soreness. Everything's good, status quo. So I think that was his dress rehearsal. So the date that's floating around right now, White Sox Twitter, is June 10th when the Nationals are in Chicago. I see that as a possibility.
That would be either Covey's or could it be Covey's start?
Well, I got it in front of me. So Manny B started, so it'd be oh shit, who starts
tomorrow? There's a day off.
It would be if it's June 5th, or what did you say? June 10th?
June 10th.
That would be who's after Giolito?
Lopez.
Yeah.
Because aren't there a few days off in between here?
Yeah, so it would be the day after. So it'd be I think it'd be Manny Bañuelos.
Yeah, if it's a Manny start, yes. Fuck yes, please throw Cease in there. I mean,
I'd rather it be Kobe.
I know. Kobe didn't do too. Manny pitched okay tonight too against Cleveland, but it's just.
I feel like they, and not to cut you off. I think they're going to get. I'm going to say cautiously, 1 to 2 more starts for Kobe, where he's going deep into the game, 100 plus pitches.
Cease, right?
Cease.
Oh, okay.
And then because Hun also threw out the All-Star break in one of his interviews recently. I mean, honestly, it's so hard to tell. I mean, if there's an injury, and they think he's ready, he could come up. But other than that, I mean, be sure that he's ready, that his arm can handle it, the adrenaline, the rush and all that, because it's a different experience pitching in the big league. So
bottom line too is they're looking for something. Like each their scouting bureau, I guess you want to call it, within each organization. They know what they're looking for and what's needed with the parent club, with the big club. And so when they see some of these guys, like say for example, someone that goes out and can push and extend a little bit beyond 100 pitches at an outing, or a guy that is maybe inducing more ground balls right now, no matter who he's facing. Because again, AAA, especially if you're talking about AAA, those are more refined players and they're like more vets. And so they're closer to that cup of coffee. And so you know that they're looking for certain specific things from each guy. Like it's not the same for each either. They're not looking for the same for Covey as they might look, and so when you're looking at what the White Sox might be asking of each guy, you got to take into consideration where are their deficiencies currently now with the big club, and does someone with similar stuff, are they having trouble right now? And if so, are you basically just robbing Peter to pay Paul by bringing somebody else up that's struggling with the same thing, or is this someone that actually adds to and pushes and plays away from their weaknesses, whatever it might be, and has maybe that it factor that they're looking for? I don't know.
No, that's fair, and I agree with you. And just to circle back to what I was saying, Cease's line on Wednesday: 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 both earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 100 pitches on the nose. 65 of those pitches were strikes.
It's good. You're throwing strikes.
And you know what the thing is, where obviously you want, as a White Sox fan, you want Cease up here as soon as possible just to see what he can do. But at this point, you have to be cheering for, and it's a good thing and also a bad thing. He has like no competition in AAA because every other starter is bad, and we have the whole AAA is using the MLB balls, which we all know are juiced.
Yeah.
Like the entire league is awful. Like the average ERA is like in the 5s, and Dylan Cease, like through 8 starts or whatever starts it's been so far, he has a 3.26 ERA. So obviously, pretty damn good compared to how the entire league is doing. Right. The White Sox, they're like everyone else at AAA, their starters are bad. You have Bañuelos, who just came off an injury, and he's like shaky at best. And then you have Dylan Covey, who's filling in like in your other rotation spot. So there's really not much competition. So maybe just root for Buñuelos getting roughed up a little bit, and then it's easier.
He's going to have to worry about command too. I mean, he puts a lot of guys on base free. I mean, his last 1, 2, 3, 4 starts. That's 4, 8. That's 10 walks in his last 4 starts. And what 8, 14, 21 innings pitched. I mean, that's a lot for a guy that's going to be asked to do that against the best hitters in the world now at this point. You can't put guys on as a young pitcher. You know, that's probably the last thing that kind of shows up too is that command, but you can't be doing that at the AAA level and expect to call up, because you will be the next Rick Ankiel. You'll be the next Yu Darvish, the guy that can't find the zone, and you'll be the Chatwood, although he's figured it out. It puts an immense amount of pressure on a young pitcher, especially if they're putting guys on, and it could be a recipe for the disaster. I mean, you need that. He needs to be more efficient, I think, before you even think about him coming up. And that's something that I think that Benuelos is going to just have to wear one and just keep wearing it. Just roll him out there until Cease gets that command. And he's going to have to show it for multiple starts. He can't go, he had 1 outing so far this year where he hasn't walked a guy. He's had 3 outings where he's actually given up just 1 walk, and the rest have been multiple, if not more, in short outings. 4.2 innings, 4 2/3, 2 walks.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, it still seems feasible to me that June 10th, June 11th. It's a little, but we'll see.
I have a question though. Going back to, because like we've always compared it how he's going to be like on the same trajectory as Kopech. And last year, wasn't he going to come up earlier? But the reason that they like kept him down more was because he did struggle. Like there was a whole thing where like they wanted him to like go through adversity, and like he all of a sudden did. Or was that up the plan all along to keep him?
I'm not sure they admitted that. I always said that.
Yeah, that was.
I'm not sure they admitted it. If they did, I mean, kudos to me. I knew. I'll gladly I'll snap that low hanging fruit.
But there was that stretch where like he started off hot, and it's like, all right, when are we going to see him?
Yeah, exactly.
That
stretch in June.
Yeah.
June, July.
So, like, if Cease doesn't have that and he just keeps...
Well, I think it's different, though, too.
Does he come up sooner?
Well, that was one of the things. I think Kevin actually made a good point, a big point. And that's probably it's a little bit more difficult to evaluate Cease this year than it was Kopech last year, because Kopech, meteoric rise. I mean, and he had some bravado, and I think 2017 was his first full season. 2018, like we all knew he was going to be on an innings limit, with that kind of power arm and whatever. Mm-hmm. But he had like star value, and he had like swagger. And to me, as in evaluating it, it was obvious to see this kid needs to be knocked down a few pegs and see how he responds to that. Cease, I don't really think the same thing. I mean, he's had some injuries. I haven't gotten that many quotes, heard or seen that many quotes from him. I mean, he doesn't strike me as an arrogant kid. So I don't see it as like he's got to take his lumps. I think he's taken some lumps in just general adversity. So it's harder to figure out what a timeline would be for him, because he's pitching well in AAA, especially like Aldo said, in a league where balls are getting blasted out of parks left and right. And he's keeping the ball in the ballpark, but he's also walking a lot of guys. So, you'd have to watch him pitch. Does he get strike one often? Does he fall behind in 0-2 counts and go deep in counts like that? Can he not locate his changeup? That's where like the real nitty gritty details of the guys watching him every day, whether it's coaches or scouts, I think is going to be the determining factor for him.
Well,
and how fast do you want to rush up a guy that's giving up a 263 clip to AAA hitters right now while also struggling with command? That's not like someone that's just, Nuke LaLoosh out there, striking out 10 and walking 10. He's getting hit around a little bit. If they're hitting 263 against him, in his past, if you look at his career,
but AAA is like way out of control though, right? Right now, I mean, like 263 might be low in AAA.
But I think that shows how good he's been. I think that shows just how good he's been then, because he's still finding a way to work around the hits, the walks, where he's not giving up the runs. He's not giving up home runs. And like we're talking about the home runs, guys already have like 20 home runs in like a month and a half or whatever it was.
So
he's keeping the ball in the ballpark.
This conversation we're having right now. A run every other inning?
Yeah, he's at 21 runs. I mean, he's got only 17 earned, but I mean,
Right.
in 47 innings pitched, I mean, he's practically at one every other inning. And that, again, while we talk about hitters at, pitchers at AAA and all that good stuff, hitters at AAA are generally somewhat veteran guys, or not veteran, but guys that have been around a while that are crafty, but there's a reason they're still kind of stuck in that logjam at AAA. Right. Now, does that translate up to the big club? I mean, you got a guy that, again, I mean, look at a guy that's a successful hitter. You can see guys that are hitting 360 at AAA, and they get up to the show and they're getting, they're hitting like 210. Yeah. And you got guys that go, you can't. It's a big risk for a young pitcher to throw him out there if he can't get, if his batting average is against him is like roughly 210. There you go. It should be below 250 in my opinion, before you even start thinking about it.
The conversation we're having right now, and the back and forth, and the justifications that we can come up for on either side of this, is exactly what makes this not an easy decision for the front office.
Right.
Because when you start putting dollars into this and, development, and, a lot hinges on Cease being good, just like it did Kopech and Moncada, Eloy, so we can see that, like where the pause comes from the front office, where it's like, if we're still having these doubts or questions, maybe that's a sign.
Fair
What's
enough.
the harm in holding him down?
Fair enough.
I just want to do two nerdy stats.
Him, but
I want to do two nerdy stats because I know how much we love the nerdy stats.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving up hits. He's walking guys, but his ground ball rate is up this year compared to last year. It's up to 56.6%. We always talk about keep the ground ball or keep the ball down. You don't want to give up balls, fly balls. The fly ball percentage down to 24.6%. It's down 5% from last year. I mean,
this is also a statement.
Do you have some more nerds? How many double plays has he induced?
I'm curious. Double plays.
Well, that would be a big stat, especially if he's putting runners on, right?
Also, line drive percentage is down.
Actually, seems like getting away with one, like in a sense.
But I would love that. I mean, there's two ways to look at that. Like, yeah, you put the leadoff guy on, but you got the next guy to ground into a double play.
Right.
So it's bounce back. Still, you don't want to put that runner on.
And here's the other one.
Get it.
Here's the other one, and this makes sense with we're seeing the ground ball rates are obviously up, the fly ball rate is down, the line drive percentage is down. He's getting kind of unlucky. The BABIP against him is at, it's at 355. Last year it was at 273. I mean, so he's like, you could say, he's getting a little unlucky.
Is that fit? You said
BABIP.
Okay. Oh, batting average on balls in play. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just maybe there's just a couple ground balls who they're not hit so hard, but they found a hole.
This is where you really just want to watch him throw.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to see it now. Like I'm ready for it. So moving on though, let's talk about. Thank you. Let's talk about something that's awesome because Lucas
strength.
Yeah, Andre Alonso.
No, Lucas motherfucking Giolito. He deserves the MFer as a middle name because homeboy is balling out.
Dealing.
The stat, I mean, the 7-1 record's cool. Don't get me wrong. We know win-loss is just whatever. But
it's the most important stat.
Lucas Giolito has an ERA of 2.85 and an ERA plus of 155. He'd be the first White Sox starting pitcher under the age of 25 to post an ERA below 3 since 1993. And the first to post an ERA plus over 150 since, just 1913. Holy shit, dude. I mean, that's just amazing.
He's dealing it, man. He's dealing.
He really is.
It's that arm slot thing. That's like
shortened up his back. Yeah. He shortened up his separation.
And I mean, for a guy where, we've all read the stories, we've all talked about it, where a lot of this stuff is between the ears, but you see him out there like that. His last outing against Kansas City, he gave up that bomb to Gordon in the first or second inning real early in the game. And Lucas last year, you might as well just turn on Cinemax because that's game over. That's game over. But the way he came back from that and just battled the rest of the game, I mean,
gave his team an opportunity to win.
Just balling out. He's throwing complete game shutouts. Like,
That's really interesting to me. In an era or a period of baseball where the complete game is dead,
yes.
Well, he has one.
they've let him go too.
The first one was 5 innings. It
Yeah,
was
the first one was
Oh, okay. All right. But he's gone into the eighth at least twice.
And I was surprised he didn't go 9 innings last time because I think he was only in the low 100s. I think like 103 maybe. I thought he was going to go out there for the ninth.
Right. And his strike rate is like 80%.
Well, no, the biggest thing for him is the walk rate. Remember last year how we're making jokes with like Giolito or Chatwood, like who's going
to have more walks this game?
Like who do you trust more throwing a strike or something? That walk rate is way down.
Way down. But I mean, let's not bury the lead here. He threw a complete 4-hit shutout, complete game 4-hit shutout in Houston.
Like
it wasn't against the Royals. It wasn't against the Orioles. He did this in Houston. I mean,
wasn't this while we were recording the show last week?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was. Because weren't we talking about a watered-down Houston lineup? No Altuve.
Yeah.
I just want to say, as a Cubs fan who just saw the Cubs.
Yeah, I was going to say
that was a very tough team. Very tough team. Giolito needs to be like the front runner for the NL Cy Young after that shutout performance.
No, we can't say that anymore. The Cubs fans will get mad. We can't say that was a B team.
The Cubs also played 2 of those games without Chris Bryant. I just want to say so.
Yep.
Also B team.
B team.
The Cubs had
split squad. That's what you were saying last week. That was split squad.
The Cubs had some guy named Jim Aducci starting right field for them on
Hey,
Monday.
that is Evergreen Park's finest.
I know.
Boy.
He's from the neighborhood. I didn't know that until like 2 days ago. But whatever. If he's from the neighborhood, I'll root for him.
34-year-old vet just coming up on Memorial Day and going over for it.
Well, you still can't discount what Giolito
but back to Giolito. I mean, he's going to be an all-star, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, right now, yeah, I'd say so.
So before we get into the all-star, because I want to do White Sox, and then I want to do all-star, and then I want to do Cubs. So the last thing we got to talk about is Yonder Alonso.
Sure you want to do this?
So
the greatest cleanup hitter of all time.
As we're recording this show on Thursday night, Yonder's currently sits 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a double. And I want to point out that he hit a double, and then the guy McCann came up behind him and hit a double, and Yonder got to third.
No, it was an infield single.
I don't know. I was watching Statcats.
You were first to third on an infield single?
It was just
second to third.
Second to third infield single. He also walked 3 times on base, getting that OBP up.
So before tonight's game, we tweeted out the stat that he was statistically the worst hitter in Major League Baseball in the month of May. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, sweet. Let's bat him cleanup. And then he goes out and does this stuff. So
clearly he is not a friend of the show.
Yes, and the ocean is still very much his name. He needs to beat TFA. Oh, fuck that guy. I'm done with that guy. You know what? I'm gonna do it.
Oh man, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna do it. Yonder Alonso. # done.
Oh, by the way, he for whatever reason, I don't know if this was what was this a botch hit and run. Why was he trying to steal a base? He was thrown out after he walked in the 5th inning
because he was like lost. I don't know.
He does hit lefties well.
Oh, the White Sox just did something. Abreu, 2-run bomb.
That's a Pito bomb, baby. Love that guy.
The White Sox need to have more Thursday night games. Like every time we're on, they're just winning. Right.
And as Steve Stone said tonight, and I have to put this in the show.
Ever.
Steve Stone, when talking, so they're like, "Oh, Chicago's the greatest city in the summer," and Steve Stone goes, "Yeah, hopefully this gets more people out to the ballpark. It's a very exciting team. Do they play good baseball every night? No. Do they play exciting baseball? Most of the time." It was like, damn, Steve. Steve keeps it real, and I appreciate that about. I love Jason and Steve. I think they're a great team. But yeah, dude, that caught me. I had to rewind it and listen again. I was like, did he really just say no? Like, holy shit.
No. Hey, I mean, he's being honest.
Being honest.
Below 500, so
he's being honest. So I appreciate you, Steve. And I guess someone just started a Twitter account called Steve Stone Socks because his sock game this year has been on point. And they keep showing pictures of it. So let's sandwich both talks here with a little All-Star. So while I'm talking, you guys can pull up your All-Star ballots. Just Google All-Star ballot. Because I know
MLB All-Star. Oops, spelled it wrong. Star ballot. Spelled ballot wrong too. All right.
Ballot.
Ballot.
For guys like me, I just put in All-Star voting because I'm simple.
Did you see how you can just put in a player's name and vote for him on Google?
Yeah, you can just
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
While you guys are pulling it up, that's a great. So if you want to vote for your favorite players like Chris Bryant or Tim Anderson or anything like that, just Google their name and it'll come up and you can just vote for them right away, right there.
DESCA. All
right. So what are we gonna do? Position by position.
First base. AL.
Let's see. Abreu just hit his 15th home run. I think he leads all first basemen in home runs.
So I was just going to do it like this. I was going to say first base, I have Jose Abreu and Josh Bell. And then whoever else wants to go after that. Argue against Josh Bell. The dude is...
No, Josh Bell, definitely.
Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman.
Luke Voigt.
I like Peter Alonso.
Well, that's
good. And see, that's the thing. That's why
I just looked at Josh Bell's numbers, and if we're going by the numbers, it's Josh Bell's been a monster.
Yeah. I go Josh Bell and
I'll go Abreu. Why not? There's only like one guy who's ahead of him in OPS, and that's
what's Luke Voigt hitting?
Voigt's hitting 262, 38 review.
That's
I was gonna ask you guys, like obviously we all do our votes, and like we're obviously just gonna be homers for at least a couple of these ballots and just root or pick our guys.
For sure.
Like when you like actually try to vote objectively, like what do you look for? Like what are you?
Oh, that's a whole show on itself.
Yeah, I mean, just the quick version. I look at OPS, batting average, and then if I need a tiebreaker, home runs because chicks take the long ball.
Do you guys care about name power at all?
No, that's why I have no problem putting Josh Bell as my first baseman for the National League.
All right.
I mean, I honestly think it should be the best players. I get the whole star power thing, but you're still going to get your Mike Trouts. You're still going to have Cody Bellinger. Like, you're still going to have those big names there because they deserve to be there. But some of these guys who clearly worked at their craft, elevated their game, and deserve to be all-stars, like a Josh Bell or a James McCann deserve to be all-stars. I don't think many people outside of Detroit and Chicago know who the hell James McCann is.
No, there's no way. No. They're like, who? Brian McCann? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Is that his cousin?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So, are we good at first base? Kevin, who would you have at first base?
Abreu and I'm probably being a little bit kind of a homer because I got to watch him play a ton last year here in Vegas when the Mets minor league AAA team was still located here because he just kills the baseball. Love Alonso, but Josh Bell's got to be it. I mean, he's just having a month. It's
second highest average in the league. I mean,
his month of May he was just
not far off with his jacks either. I mean, 18s.
There's so many good first basemen in the NL. The AL.
That's why I think Jose actually has a legit shot.
Yeah. I think he'll lose out. He'll lose out to like Luke Voigt or something because just Yankees name.
Yeah.
Big city.
Dude, like Japan love voting for the Yankees.
Well, yeah, because they had a couple guys from Japan there.
Yep.
What is it?
And the Angels.
Yeah. So what's the next position?
Second base.
This is interesting. I feel like none of us are going to have the same answers for this one. So
Tommy La Stella. Look at his numbers. You can't argue against the numbers.
I have two ex-Cubs right on top of each other.
I have my ballot right here, and I have Tommy La Stella and Mike Moustakas.
You can't argue those numbers.
La Stella,
choose ball or not.
Above Altuve?
Look at the numbers.
What about D. Gordon?
Look at the numbers.
I mean, Nuke, really, just look at those numbers.
Look at the number. I mean, Altuve's only hitting 243. He's been injured, so he's missed some time.
Yeah.
And Altuve's going to be named to the team. So you almost don't
Tommy
go.
La Stella has a 914 OPS. That's like close to Anthony Rizzo.
How many games has he played? I don't have the stats up.
Let's see. Thomas
Bombs for Tommy La Stella.
I'll look it up. You guys can keep going.
All right, Kevin, who you got?
I'm a little bit. Again, I'm a little partial, but where did I have it? I just closed it. I don't know why I did that.
Mike Moustakas is listed as a second baseman.
Yes,
he's starting there.
I got La Stella. Honestly, because I obviously you want an All-Star game, you want Altuve there, but I have a feeling that that's really not going to matter, and he's kind of banged up anyway, and so. Again, guys like La Stella earn that stuff, and he's earning it right now. I think that, and again, he's a
Sanchez.
You're just kicked off the show.
I mean, La Stella's played in 50 games so far, so he's played most of the season.
But yeah, I got to go with Tommy.
And then, go La Stella and go ahead.
Yeah, La Stella and Marte.
That's fair.
Every time I see a fucking Brewers box score, he just like hits a home run.
846 OPS, 13 homers, 32 RBIs with a 256 average.
I know I think we talked about it briefly in the offseason, but like no one trying to sign Moustakas is like stupid.
That was your guy, Nuke.
Yeah. So, nobody's signing Dallas Keuchel if he's healthy is stupid. Nobody's signing Kimbrel.
We'll get to it later, but I think it's coming soon.
Yeah, what are they both going to go to Atlanta?
I hope not.
Yeah.
So third base.
Next position.
Third base, I have Nolan Arenado in the National League. I know.
Fight you.
I know, but it's just, dude, look at that stat line right now is unreal. He's got a 1.012 OPS, batting 336, 15 homers, 47 RBIs.
Hard to argue with that.
And then, so for third base in the American League, realistically, I think it's going to go to like either Rafael Devers or Hunter Dozier. But of course, I'm going to vote for Yohan Moncada. What up?
You forget about Alex Bregman.
Bregman's good. He's hurt.
I'm going to go Bregman and Bryant.
Okay.
Really?
I wanted to check one thing when it comes to Arenado.
Are you checking his splits?
I want to see what he's done at home compared to I want it to be this.
You know who we have to start doing that too, or also is Diamondbacks hitters, because that ballpark is also just bam.
What is this?
While you look that up, Kevin, did you guys see so far? Paul Goldschmidt only has 2 more extra bases than the backup catcher the Cardinals traded to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, he fell off pretty hard. Goldie came out.
And I just said that, and he's gonna go off against the Cubs this weekend. So I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. I'm sorry, Cubs. Fuck. God damn it.
Yep.
He's hit more home runs on the road. He's at 9 to 6. But you know what? I still vote for Chris because if I don't, well,
no, I think because Chris only has like 1 or 2 All-Star games. Like he's like the most underrated player right now. We're getting to like the Joey Votto level of underratedness with Chris Bryant from his own fucking fan base.
Yep.
It's getting pretty obnoxious. So.
We're gonna get to that.
And he's only hitting 291 at home, on the road. Arenado is. So
yeah, but spoiler, Kevin, I totally knew what his splits were. I just wanted you to look it up for yourself because I know that no one's balling on the road. But let's get to shortstop.
Oh, this is a good one.
Shortstop's tough.
For shortstop, I'm going to go with the 2 shortstops with the highest batting average in their leagues. So that means I'm voting for Tim Anderson and Javi Baez. Let's go.
It's hard to argue against that.
I'm going to go with Javier Baez, obviously. Still one of the top WAR players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Tim Anderson still has high average. He has 8 home runs, right? Not bad.
Yeah. His OPS is dipping.
The guy who's right behind him in a batting average.
Yes.
Jorge Polanco for the Twins.
If I was a betting man, I would bet Jorge Polanco gets it, and then Tim Anderson's one of those voting campaign guys.
But you
Yeah.
know who's actually going to get it over both of those guys, and it's going to be bad because
Timmons.
no, our guy Gleyber Torres,
Mm.
because he has like 1,000 home runs against the Orioles. So like his numbers look pretty good, even though he's been like
I think he has
pretty
10
average
home runs against the Orioles.
Yeah, like he has 14 home runs, 31 RBIs, and like most of that has been against
Yeah,
Baltimore.
right.
I'm not kidding. I think 8 of those home runs are against Baltimore.
No, it's 10.
No, it's 10.
Well,
Not an exaggeration.
I'm going.
But Tim Anderson, if he keeps it up, Tim Anderson should be on the All-Star team.
Yeah, not having a great night tonight, but I'm going all Chicago shortstop. And to keep that train rolling, I'm going all Chicago catcher too.
Ooh.
James McCann and Wilson Contreras, baby.
I mean, does James McCann even have competition in the?
No one's close. He's hitting 349. The next available catcher is Christian Vasquez in Boston, who's hitting 301.
Oh, geez, nope. I'm sorry, I forgot. No, see, that's the problem. It's like if it comes down to fan voting, the guys like who deserve it, or even, and I'm not even saying that Gary Sanchez doesn't deserve it, but Gary Sanchez.
Home runs. Gary Sanchez has 17 home runs.
Yeah, like, Gary's and his OPS is like near 1,000.
And he's a Yankee. Yeah, I get that. I get it.
You guys want to hear a sick stat for James
Always.
McCann?
Always.
Let's see. God, McCann is hitting 525, and not in a small sample size, 21 for 40, with 7 doubles and 1 home run, 4 RBI, and a 1.323 OPS in the 7th inning or later.
Well, that's why White Sox fans are calling
Raced
him.
late in the game.
That's why he's James McClutch.
Or
McClutch.
McCann.
Yeah.
McCann.
Yeah.
These options are horrible, by the way. AL catchers. There are 3 dudes hitting below 190 on this option list.
When's the last time catchers were anything offensive?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
mean,
James McCann
James McCann.
James McCann.
James McCann.
and Willie too. Man, Willie's got a
him-
970 OPS too. I mean, he's
Make him an all-star then.
So I do want, in James McCann's, my pitch for him, he is a better defensive catcher than Gary Sanchez.
I agree.
Okay, there you go. All around. You know, you got to teach the crowd all around game.
The McCann,
he doesn't win because he's a Yankee. Blah
Right.
blah blah.
without a doubt. I mean, that sucks, but we know it's going to happen. But in the National League, I mean, this is Wilson. This is Big Willie's show.
It's killing it.
It is.
Yeah.
296, 12 homers, 32 RBIs with a 970 OPS. And he has a cannon too. So I have no problem voting for Wilson Contreras.
And that's a fun little rivalry with the Brewers too, because Grandal is like right behind him. That's his biggest competition. And of course, people voting for fucking Yachty because
Yeah.
Yeah, Yachty will get a lot of turnout for him.
Buster Posey having a bad year.
Yep. So
All right,
Outfield.
here it is.
The outfielders.
So I have a little, I don't know. My outfield's a little weird.
Adam Engel, write and vote.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see him try to steal a home run.
Negative. So I actually I like Austin Meadows in Tampa. So
Gee.
that's another guy like a James McCann. Do any of you know who Austin Meadows is?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Batting 361, 12 home runs, 35 ribbies, a 1.123 OPS, a sick month of May. I mean, the dude's in a piss hole market in Tampa Bay. I'm pretty sure you get 2 fifth-row tickets with a full tank of gas.
they just set a record for the lowest attendance.
Yeah,
in
so
their
I mean,
Wednesday night game.
no one's seeing this dude do it, but he is balling out. And that goes back to my point where players that earned it should be there. And Austin Meadows is one of those guys.
So if players that earn it get there, you know who you can't vote for because his stats just don't measure up to the bigger dogs. You kind of can't vote for Mike Trout.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a good point because I was just going down to – I was trying to find him to put my vote in for him. 276, 12 homers, 30 RBIs with a 1.014 OPS. His OPS is up there.
I can't wait for the columns. Is Mike Trout worth his contract extension?
Jesus Christ.
Well, when are we gonna see those?
I hope.
No,
so.
I mean his OPS is still above 1,000. Like he's.
But serious question: is Mike Trout an All-Star this year?
Yeah.
Is he having an all-star season? No.
But is he an All-Star because of what he's done in the past?
He's an all-star because he's Mike Trout.
And I don't disagree with you. I mean, like, how do you? The narrative would be if he didn't make the team.
If he didn't make,
would be
team,
like 2 weeks of what is wrong with people. You know, Mike Trout's an all-star.
I mean, his OPS is still like one of it's like top 3, isn't it? It's above 1,000.
Yeah,
it's only Joey Gale. Joey Gale is the only one ahead of him.
Flip side of it too, though, is what's going to happen when Harper doesn't? Like, can you even do you put Harper on the All-Star team just because his name's Bryce Harper?
No,
and he's having a terrible year.
He's not even on my bench for my All-Star team.
He might be. Well, you know what? I'm trying to think of, like, you know, every team has to send someone. I'm trying to think of who the Phillies would send. It might be Rhys Hoskins.
Okay. This is how we're gonna have a good Mike Trout conversation. So the debate kind of started, but it was just kind of floated out there. I think it's way too early because we've only seen it for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point do we get Cody Bellinger versus Mike Trout?
It's already started. I saw that today.
Like, it's starting, but like it's not really serious because like Bellinger's only done it for 2 months.
The headline I saw today was Mike Trout has been the best player in baseball the last X amount of years. Is Cody Bellinger coming for that crown?
Not
he's
even
coming,
close.
He's come, but he's only done it for 2 months.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Again, remember, this is the Dodgers. Remember, Jock Peterson was Rookie of the Year until late June when it got hot in LA and it starts getting steamy and musty. And Bellinger, although I do think Bellinger's going to keep, I think he might end up hitting like somewhere north of maybe even 350 this year. He's having a good season. He's a good ball player.
And he's like, I mean, he's pretty close to 5 tools, right? Because his defense is
his
incredible.
arm.
Yes.
That throw the other day.
Hose. Just gunning motherfuckers down.
I mean, who was it? John Heyman. Like, you rarely see reporters because of their ego like ever apologize for their bad, awful takes. And we know John Heyman's had a lot. But he like apologized for ever suggesting that the Dodgers should trade Bellinger for Real Muto in the offseason. He's like, I want to apologize. That was stupid of me. I'm sorry.
Bellinger, I mean, like everybody was saying, even before he was called up, that he was a serious kind of prospect.
Mm-hmm.
But like you guys said, I mean, the idea to even utter those words to compare him, it's like just let's see him do it for 2 years,
right,
and be as dominant as Mike Trout was for 2 years, and then we can say, is he coming for it?
I have a question for Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Jock Peterson an All-Star?
No, but I still want him on the White Sox.
No? Have you seen his numbers? Have you seen Jock Peterson's numbers?
Good.
Let me find.
They are good.
Jock Peterson, 268 batting average, so it's like not. I mean, okay.
He's not
16 home runs, 30 RBIs, 1.019 OPS.
Those are fantastic numbers. I'll take him on the White Sox yesterday, but Cody Bellinger, Christian Yelich, and I mean, I don't know. You can make an argument for Charlie
Blackmon.
I got Blackmon. I
like
Blackmon.
You know who I like? I saw his game.
Blackmon or Acuna over Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take not my cousin or brother. I wish. Juan Soto for the Nationals. Yeah. That kid is special.
Yes, that's a guy who went Double-A to the show.
He did. He had like 20 games in Double-A, and just like, let's go.
That's my live Pantera hopeful.
Here's the thing though. The Nationals were like, they were supposed to be competitive. The one thing the White Sox don't have is that the AL might be bad overall, but they're still top heavy. Like, what are you competing for, really?
Right.
So that's the one negative.
And knowing that the AL East is going to wake up at some point.
Right. But Juan Soto, Yelich.
Yeah, the outfield's tough.
And Bellinger.
It always is tough.
Yeah, I have Bellinger, Yelich, and Blackmon.
Bingo. Agreed.
Yeah. And then in the AL, I have Austin Meadows, George Springer, and then I just pick Mike Trout because he's going to be there. So might as well pick him. And he's the god of the show. So you gotta vote for a friend of the show.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, duh. Come on, guys. Who do you guys have in the AL though?
I'll put Michael Brantley, who was also on the White Sox radar, who they didn't get. He's good. I'm still gonna vote for Mike Trout because I think by the time that it's July, he's gonna be like. I mean, he's still awesome right now. He's below his Mike Trout standards.
Exactly. He's an average to good Major League Baseball player right now.
12 homers, 30 RBIs, and over 1,000 OPS.
Yeah.
But,
So I'll go Trout. I'll go Mookie Betts still, and then Meadows. I know I just brought up Michael Brantley, but
it's tough to vote against Mookie too. Defending MVPs usually get the fast track to All-Star games.
I'll go Tyler Naquin, Tommy Pham, and Chad Pinder.
Wait, where's this game being played? Philly?
Tommy.
No, this is Cleveland?
Yeah, so you guys know Lindor is going to make it, right?
Yeah.
No, he's terrible.
Well, I mean, everything gets one no matter what, even if you're really.
So here's where you really got to choose one. Your DH.
Yonder Alonso pops up first.
Yonder Alonso.
Oh, my God. Hold on, I got to scroll all the way down. If you sort them by batting average or OPS, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to find Yonder.
You know who's a really fun player to vote for if you want? Daniel Vogelbach.
I want the motor scooter rider. I want the guy that had his motor scooter stolen and has the worst stance in baseball and the most amazing personality. I love Hunter Pence. I'll vote for him all day. Him having a good season is an excuse for me to vote for him. That dude is great.
He is Captain Caveman, dude. Like, he is, like, unbelievable. But this is going to pain me to say. But it's a legit thing that could happen. Avisail Garcia.
Oh, man.
It would be his second All-Star game.
Well, okay. I know this is like complete tangent that I'm going to go off on. But what do you guys think about that rule in Tampa, the grounds rule, where if it hits the catwalk, like in the outfield, it's still in play? Because obviously Garcia had that inside the park home run on a ball hit like 100 feet.
Yeah, that popped into my I got the notification for that, and I was just like, "What? No!"
Like they have to change that so ground rules double, right? Like, come on.
It should be a ground rule double.
Should be dead ball.
But Avisail, he's hitting 301, 10 homers, 25 RBIs with an 884 OPS. I mean, I think if my vote here would probably go to Daniel Vogelbach.
Yeah,
because of clutch hitting and he's leading most home runs, but Hunter Pence would be a very close second.
And then for the NL, Kyle Schwarber.
No designated hitter in the NL.
Right? Why don't they list anyone out? Come on.
Yeah, it says no designated hitter.
No fun.
I don't know. It's fun to me that
have a pleasant drive.
Is it a pleasant drive?
What the heck was that?
But both sides of town legit have guys. I mean,
and they have 3 more weeks. Voting ends June 21st.
Yeah, so
think about it. I mean, the White Sox could legit have 3 All-Stars.
We didn't even get to the
fair. Right. We didn't even
because there's Giolito.
I mean, you may even get 4 with Colome.
Yep.
Right, and then
So Colome, Giolito. The White Sox haven't lost a game while leading after the 7th.
Yo just hit a double. White Sox are winning.
So I mean, you could have Colome, Giolito,
McCann,
and realistic. I mean, add McCann in there. You got 5.
Yep.
Because you could have Abreu and Anderson. I don't think they'll let that happen. I don't think the White Sox
that would be
5
like
All-Stars.
if the White Sox are still below 500, but they have 4 All-Stars. Like that would be
exactly.
That would show how bad the AL.
Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah, you'd be like, "What? This isn't baseball."
No, but
what is this?
And again, I don't want to say it again because it always seems like we're like trashing the Sox, but it's like, damn, if you could have made a couple moves, more impactful moves in the offseason.
Right,
just one. All I was looking for was one.
What's the one we just talked about? Could you imagine if they just made the simple move that like Michael Brantley?
Any right fielder.
Michael Brantley. Why didn't we get Michael Brantley?
Brantley
right now.
And why? Hey, we did. We got John Jay.
He's Bigfoot. John Jay's new nickname is Bigfoot.
Hey, he's keep the clubhouse loose.
Sasquatch. John Sasquatch Jay.
But I mean, if we had Michael Brantley in his 330, 10 home runs, 36 RBIs with a 933 OPS.
Did anyone honestly really want Michael Brantley?
I mean, he was a solid option because what did we say? Like the White Sox
Maybe it's
never
just me.
had an on base percentage guy. If Michael Bradley was going to give you at least a 350, 360 OBP guaranteed.
Yeah, maybe.
And Zoe, I have to give you credit because I laughed and I know you mentioned it on Twitter. Adam Jones has been decent. He would have been better than dealing with Adam Engel for a month.
Thank you, Mr. Beefloaf.
We wouldn't have gotten to see this awesome Cordell Tilson thing.
I mean, you can't miss Charlie Tilson just whiffing on pop fly.
Oh my god, that was terrible. All right.
Bad. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the Cubs so we can bring this home. But there's a couple things that I wanted to bring up. One, although I wanted to bring you because you've been tweeting about him. Talk about that pitcher because we talk about the White Sox farm system all the time, but the Cubs have an arm coming.
Adbert Alzolay.
You notice how I brought it up, but I didn't say his name because there was zero chance I was going to pronounce that right. So,
Adbert Alzolay. That's right.
Is that Spanish for the Nino?
I think so. So this kid, he breakout year in 2017. He was at high A, went to double A for a couple starts, breakout year. Theo Epstein, after the 2017 season, talked about him. This kid's going to be in our rotation, like in the future. He's going to be like maybe a number 1, number 2 starter. 2018 happens. He gets a late start to the season because of I forget what the injury he had at first, but he kind of struggles through 8 starts or so, and then he gets a lat injury. So he gets shut down.
That's not fun for a pitcher.
He gets shut down from like June on. And this was right after the Cubs were planning to bring him up to make a spot start in June or in late May in Cincinnati, but there was a rainout. So that gets washed away. There's a doubleheader and he doesn't come up anymore. His next start, he gets hurt, or like that's when he gets the injury. He gets shut down. So he comes back 2019, spring training, another side injury. It's like, shit, is it the lat again? Is there going to be a surgery? Thankfully, there's not, but he's still slowed down. He didn't make his debut this season until May 12th. And he had like a couple rehab. He had one rehab start at Myrtle Beach, which is the high A class team for the Cubs. He comes back to Iowa, still struggles a little bit, only goes 4 innings. But these last 2 starts, he goes 11 innings, only gives up 1 earned run, 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, which was an intentional walk. Theo Epstein's Mark Gonzalez for the Chicago Tribune wrote about it on Thursday night. The Cubs are noticing him again. They see the velocity's up. The Cubs need anyone who can the one thing that the Cubs lack. Obviously, we all know that the bullpen is a problem. But the biggest thing from the bullpen that they don't strike guys out. Like they're so reliant on, all right, pitch to contact. Hopefully someone's going to be there behind them. Right. And we're at an age where like the Cubs just play the Astros. Like, yeah, the Astros gave up some runs, but like we also saw their relievers just blow the ball past these hitters. And that's what you need in a new age. You need guys who can like throw 90, 96, 97, 98. The Cubs don't have that. They have like Tyler Chatwood. That's the only guy out of the bullpen who can throw.
My question then is, do you think they go the Chris Sale route with him?
I definitely think so. Because for one, I think he's going to be kind of because of the injury last year and he's coming back. I think they're going to be kind of in a pitch limit thing.
Okay.
So just bring him up, use those bullets up out of the bullpen. Because the rotation, you're not going to move any of those guys out right now. And then after that, you still have Mike Montgomery, and then Tyler Chatwood would be after him as your starting depth.
And it's actually – oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just like – I don't know when it's going to be. I predicted before the season, but that was before like I didn't realize how serious he was going to be delayed. I thought maybe he was going to come up in June, but maybe it's after the All-Star break. Just let him go. If he can be when Josh Hader first came up for the Brewers, he was just pitching like a couple innings in his time. I mean, he's still doing that a few times for the Brewers now. Let him loose for a couple innings every time. You have your shutdown guy who comes in like the 6th inning, just shorten the game up.
And we talked about this earlier too when we were talking about, Cease. This is the difference. This is between a guy that may be ready. He, especially his last 2 outings, he's only allowed 1 walk in the last 2, but opponents are hitting 167 against him. And when you look at that, he's missing barrels. And if he can actually not put, again, because nobody wants a reliever that's going to be putting guys on base, because then you're playing with fire, and next thing you know, it's a dumpster fire. The Cubs bullpen's done that enough this year. But when you have a guy that actually could prove that he can, in limited moments, go out there and get it done for an inning or two, like this right now, it's a good trend. Do it 3 or 4 more times. This is a guy that could really help the bullpen.
Yeah, so like in his last full season, 2017, 114 innings, he had a 1.1 WHIP. This year so far, 0.87 WHIP. He's only allowed 5 hits in his last 11 innings.
Hey, he's chasing the donkey from his first 2 starts where he gave up 5 earned runs and 5 earned runs. I mean, he's going to be chasing that ERA ghost for weeks now. It doesn't matter. But if you look at it with logical eyes, he looks impressive. He's trending upward at least.
If Tom Ricketts doesn't want to spend that money on Craig Kimbrel, the Cubs still need to trade for a closer. I'm not saying that Edward Alzolay is going to come in and just be like a shutdown closer for the bullpen. But he can be a guy who you bring in, like basically a more dominant Mike Montgomery that we've seen in the past, where the Cubs would use him for 2-3 innings whenever the starter was short. Use Alzolay for 2 innings at a time.
Yeah, extend him out, and you keep getting him stronger. And again, when you extend him out like that, he can still go back to being a starter if that happens. If he stays healthy, that's fine. But by giving him those extended outings, he's staying somewhat in starter shape, but at the same time, he's providing a nice service too. But I swear, I wish I could raise the ghost of Harry Carey and have him announce his name once.
Edward.
Hey,
Edward. Spell it backwards. Jesus. Get in your underwear. Start dancing. It's great.
Stop chewing your tongue, Harry.
Harry.
So, Harry, I took care of it.
Let's try to.
Harry, your hands are freezing.
Let's bring this to under 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you can. So for some reason, the narrative went out that Chris Bryant was soft.
Fragile.
He's a snowflake.
Fragile. Oh my god.
I know that didn't sit well, which it shouldn't have, because it's a complete bullshit line. But it was very nice for him to come back and then hit a fragile bomb over the center field wall in Houston. So I don't know. Are you guys good with Chris Bryant? I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't be. But
we talked about it too. They call him fragile, but he banged into Hayward. I mean,
I don't know.
The club is
acting like that wasn't no big deal.
It's extra caution. These trainers they're literally liable for these players if they go out there and they send them out there too early. They're putting their jobs at risk. Those guys are going to err to the side of extra caution. I mean, they do it at any level. Trainers are going to be like, dude, training staff's like, hey, you probably are okay to play today, so that means you're shut down for another week. That's how they operate. They don't mess around. And when you're a guy like Chris Bryant, who is a big part of the future of the franchise, they're going to shut him. Even if I can almost guarantee you that he tried to argue his way into the lineup both days. Yeah. And the kid never, softness and that kind of, the kid, when he was a freshman, barely made baby faces. I mean, you just call it his little bitch face, but because it would be a little pouty face, but he got rid of it. Toughness, never. He's never had, again, because of what happened last year, because he played through an injury, everyone just jumps to conclusions because that's what some Cub fans like to do that really don't understand much. And God, where was everybody calling Javi fragile when he had to sit out? Wasn't there because there's a narrative that someone wants to create because, again, you got.
I have a question about Bryant and the Cubs and Chicago in general.
I don't like this tone, Nick.
Oh, that sounds a little.
I asked a question last week, and it just
he got like sexy voice on it too. Like, I have a question.
Before you do this, what happened last week?
Just stab me with a spoon.
What's your question, Nick?
That was funny, by the way.
Well, there seems to be some tension with Bryant in Chicago, doesn't it? Whether it's just with the media, whether he's listening to fans, he's had some spicy statements. What's going on?
Well, he's just talking now.
Yeah, they're so used to him shutting the hell up and playing ball that he actually opens his mouth and they realize he has a personality that Oh no, Chris was snippy today. Oh,
I like my Chris Bryant quiet.
Like
you
before,
hitting bombs.
before this offseason, Chris Bryant was like, all right, Chris Bryant, like, we're going to get your cliche answer. And he still drops those from time to time. But, like, it started with the whole St. Louis thing, making jokes. That turned into a thing is like, you guys.
How about him calling out St. Louis?
What?
He's like, come on, St. Louis, come with the booze.
That's right. He's like, I hope they boo us.
He's probably been watching a little pro wrestling lately, just trying to craft that image.
Ultimate showman. I love it.
Yeah,
Give me more.
I think half of Chicago's pissed because he won't have a beer with them. I mean, honestly, they're like,
He'll have a butterbeer.
he will have a butterbeer.
That goes a long way in this city. But all right, well, appreciate you guys not killing everyone in the last. That should be a new segment of the show. Just Nuke's last
Stab
minute
me with a spoon.
Yeah, stab me with a spoon.
Well, you can see it coming when he leans into the microphone. I have a question.
for you guys.
So, all right, let's call it there. We'll call it there. So
wait, we can't end the show without saying that if you're a White Sox fan and if you booed Carlos Rodon, he hates your guts.
oh yes, he does.
yeah.
He hates your guts.
Yes. So
Check that story out on SportsMonitor.com.
yeah, A+ job by the White Sox training staff. So
Oh no, okay. Well, this is going to be a long point, but like as Kevin was talking about Bryant and the training staff being extra cautious,
mhm.
and this was obviously a visible thing. You can see he was shaken up when he like crashed in, or when Jason Elba like crashed right into his face.
Mhm.
We saw with Carlos Rodon, who gets to spring training. He's had all these injuries, but he's like, all right, finally, I'm good to go. He feels some pain in his elbow, doesn't say anything. It keeps getting worse. And then what's the next thing? He has to get Tommy John because he wants to be all tough and be competitive. Sometimes you have to save these players from themselves.
100%. Because
Absolutely, especially pitchers.
with their tendons hanging out. Nobody wants to sit. A baller doesn't want to sit, period. They'll lie to you, but you have to be able to filter through the lies.
And that's just the whole thing on Chris Bryant. Like, it's crazy to say that a guy who won Rookie of the Year, then MVP, then got better, and then he got even better for a month and a half, and then got hurt, and that's why he struggled in 2018. I don't know why Cubs fans like just take him completely for granted. Because, guys, he's like,
Right.
you are
He doesn't
one of
show
the
off.
best players
He
in
doesn't show
franchise
off.
history right now.
And that
He
was
doesn't
why I
appreciate
raised.
it.
That's why I raised that question, because he's the target of a little bit of scrutiny, a lot more scrutiny that he's used to.
After 2021.
Meatheads will always meet. That's period. They will always find. He's not a flashy guy, so there's a specific crowd that wants him to flip his bat. And when he goes out there and he does say things like, and he does hustle. I think it irks people the fact that he plays the game, what we would call quote unquote the right way. I think that bothers some of the younger generation ball players because they want him to be more of his.
I don't even think that like Chris Bryant knows that he's the shit, but obviously he has that quiet confidence. He's humble about it. He's not good. He's not the flashy guy, and that's completely fine. Good for I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing was like last year he was hurt, and that's the first time in his career that he's been like below average.
Which wasn't even bad.
Unlike Rodon, who just like trashed like part of his fan base.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. No.
Brian was just like, no, like, all right, I see the haters. That's fine. They'll see. Like, that's like all, like, Brian's just like a little subtle way. Like, I see them. I see the comments. It's fine. They'll see. I know.
And
like,
this isn't
great. I don't care.
This isn't an excuse for Rodon, but Chris Bryant has always been, like you said, the cliche. Just here to help the team, do the best I can, and I mean, he's like, Chris, what'd you have for lunch? Well, I'm just here to, do the best I can, help the team out in any way I can, and good Lord willing, Rodon is less articulate.
He's fiery too.
And watching some of his, he's always got an edge or an attitude. Maybe it's his competitiveness. Maybe he's just pissed off and frustrated that he's got to deal with the media all the time. But it comes with the territory, So I have zero sympathy for Carlos Rodon. He needs to know better. He just needs to do better.
You don't want to, and as a player, you don't want to ever crap on your crowd. You don't ever want to crap on your fan base because you're
making millions of dollars,
and they'll never forget it.
Yeah, we feel bad for you because you're butthurt about us booing you. Do better.
Yeah, do better. And I think that's the big difference between, you said, Chris went off script. He went off script now, and people are not sure what to do with it. God, the guy's been the straightest arrow for, how many, like 15 years now, where he's had to be the guy that says everything right, because his future trajectory has always been somewhat planned. I mean, in a weird way. And so he goes off script and the whole world like melts and people like freak out and,
what is happening?
Chris Wright made a joke about St. Louis being boring because he was at a Cubs fan convention night panel and everything just changed since then.
That is true. That is ground zero for this whole thing. And then my final point, this whole like issue with media and players, after last night's game, the White Sox, and I don't mean to switch this over to the White Sox for too long, but Tim Anderson sounded off again on the Royals and what his true feelings are on them. And then Rick Renteria had to kind of go out and, clean up a little bit of his statements today. Did you see that?
No, what did Ricky say?
Where he was like, well, basically TA was like, I hate the Royals, don't like them, never will, whatever. Right, competitive, whatever. He got hit in the head last night and all blah, blah, blah. But Renteria had to come out today and be like, yeah, we don't like the Royals. We don't like Cleveland. We don't like Minnesota. It's like, here, so I don't know.
I have no problem with what Tim said. He didn't say anything bad. He wasn't like, yeah, they're a bunch of fucking assholes. No, he's like, I don't like them.
No, I mean,
what's wrong with saying that you don't like your opponent? Like, where are we in this patty cake, hold hands, and it's a small world after all? That's great. They're in your division. Despise
I like my ball players quiet. They speak with the stick talk.
Real life memes. Anuko is the Clint Eastwood going, ugh, face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is permanent Anuko.
All right, last thing before Zoe, you sign off. Yep. This is how you know when no one wants to sign your client. John Morosi from MLB.com. Scott Boras told me tonight he believes Dallas Keuchel could be ready to pitch at the MLB level within roughly 1 week after signing.
No, give me a break.
Boras said Keuchel has thrown 7 simulated games of 95 to 104 pitches every 5 days.
So he's doing like an inadvertent ad campaign.
Exactly. Who is he throwing?
He's pitching at Tallahassee High School.
Right, just throwing to a brick wall.
Right. They put a square on a brick wall, and he's throwing a rubber ball against it.
He has thrown a tennis ball against a brick wall 100 times every day for the past 2 months.
Right.
And that's 75%.
Boras went off on the Major League Baseball today. He has like some kid that would have been a first-round pick.
Hey, he's signing with Japan.
But he wasn't projected to be top 10, so he told him to take $6 million in Japan. So the kid.
I don't mind that. I think that's putting the power back into the ball players, man. I like it.
Do whatever you want.
Because it's not fair sometimes.
Holy
I mean,
shit,
like you look at what Yo Moncada got, you look at what Lubov got, and then you see these American players who go all the way through the system here and then get peanuts.
Right.
That's right.
It's $6 million.
So I don't blame him. Good. Go get $6 million.
Right.
I think he has to go through the system. It might only be a year, or he has to go through the waiver system. What is it? The
international.
Right. So, like, I mean, next year, if they really want him, they have to pay for him.
Right. So
I like it.
No, that's cool. So that's going to be the show for this week. Make sure, again, you're downloading the Sports Mockery app. Turn on the push notifications. We have the Major League Baseball draft coming up in this upcoming week with the White Sox picking third. We'll definitely be talking about that. For more information on that and other stuff, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Pinwheels and Ivy Pod. You'll find all of our Twitter handles and all of our stuff retweeted there. So for K-Fids, Nuke, Aldo, I'm Zoe. Rest in peace, Skinamax. We out.
Scramble.